This is Mark Stuart. Recently I've been running a lot of webinars, mostly through Zoom. Favorite functionality within Zoom is a breakout room. It's an opportunity to create either a small group activity, or maybe you want a pair to do a role play. So how do you get that privacy in a virtual space where normally we see screens full of all these little boxes, Brady Bunch style? Well, we've got this tool called a breakout room. And what I want to do in this short video is just show the functionality behind it, how you actually run it from a host's perspective. So we'll go into the Zoom application now and show you all you need to know to run a successful breakout room. So here we are in the Zoom settings. Now it's crucial that you go, if you're new to this especially, that you go to this screen first, because in my first session when I tried to run a breakout room, I couldn't find the actual button. This was actually in the practice before the session itself. And I was lost. I was going, where can it be? Surely it's more intuitive. Turns out, as part of the settings, you sometimes have to turn on to even allow you to run a breakout room. It allows the icon that will show you soon to appear. So do a quick check first. Go into your settings, then go to In Meeting Advanced. And one of the first ones here is a breakout room. And you've just got this toggle button here. You want to make sure it's on, and then you've also got a choice to allow hosts to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. So if people register for a session you're running, you can pre-assign what the breakout rooms are going to be if you want fixed teams. So what we can do now is we can host a meeting. We'll just go into this here. So here we are in the application. And we can see that I've got two profiles. I've got a second one logged in just to try to add some realism and show how we can move people around within the breakout rooms. So at the bottom here towards the right, we've got a tab called Breakout Rooms. Now, in case you do this when you're sharing a screen, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate what that looks like. So if I share a whiteboard here. Now, when you share something, then your menu goes up the top here. And the ellipsis here on the far right has, if you click on it, you drop down in the middle, you see breakout rooms. So either that one, or I stop sharing and I go to breakout rooms here, will open up this initial box. You can see we've got a choice of automatically or manually. So if you've got, let's say quite a large room, you've got 40 people, you don't want to assign 40 people. So the easiest way is to click automatically, but you choose how many people go into a room through the number of rooms at the top here. So let's say I've got 40. I want 5 people in each team. So I'm going to create 8 rooms. And I just click 8, and then I click Create Breakout Rooms. And there's my 8 rooms. And all the 40 names would be evenly distributed across the 8 rooms. In this case, it's assigned my second profile into room 2. I can also add rooms down the bottom here, or I can obviously take rooms away by just deleting them quite easily. So we're going to recreate this. Anytime you want to reset it, you can recreate. So what does this allow you to do? I'm going to go automatically again, but just into 2 rooms. And there you get the second profile, Liana Stuart, into room 2. There's no one assigned to room 1. Now imagine I had, let's say, 10 people. And I clicked automatic, and I thought, well, I want to assign people in different rooms. If I click assign, then they've all been assigned because this profile's here. But that's the way that you would do it. Or I can move them. Let's say you do it automatically, and by chance, maybe all the leaders are in the same room. Or you've got people from different divisions that you want to keep apart for some reason. You can still move people once it's automatically created the rooms, just by clicking this move button here. I move this profile into breakout room 1. I move them back into breakout room 2. You've also got options here. So I can move all participants into breakout rooms automatically. I don't tick this, especially for corporate work, because some people could be busy. They could have to take a call. There's a reason why they can't join a breakout room. I don't want to force them. I want to give adults choice. If you're doing it maybe with kids in a classroom, then maybe you want to automatically assign them. What this means is when we create the room, a pop-up box appears, and I have to click the pop-up box to join the room. So I leave it unticked. You can allow them to return to the main screen at any time. Again, I want to give adult employees the choice to come back at any point and leave the room. You can close them after a fixed amount of time. This can be really useful. If you're trying to manage your time, you've got maybe 10 minutes, then it's useful. But because I'm normally hopping between the rooms that I'll explain soon, I don't want to fix the time because the conversations might be going really well and I don't want to stop them. So I leave it open. A countdown. So when I close the rooms, in this case, I have 60 seconds and the people in the rooms get a notification they've got 60 seconds, and that gives them time to just wrap up any conversations they might be having. The other way, so that's the options. If I go to recreate again, we go manual just to cover off the two different ways. Here you see no names have been assigned. So if I had 10, if I clicked on the assign, I'd have 10 options down here. But because there's only one other profile, the host doesn't go into a breakout room as a participant. Co-hosts will. So always think about, are your co-hosts participating or are they just helping you out? Because they're going to get assigned in. So what I sometimes do when co-hosts don't want to join a room, I automatically create the breakout rooms and then I assign the co-hosts normally into a spare breakout room and they just don't choose to join. So you just got to think about the role of the co-host. So here I'm going to assign my profile into here. If I try to assign again, there's no other profile. So that's just how the rooms work. Now this is set up, which means this open all rooms is now blue, which means we can start the room. So let's open up the rooms. So what we've got here on this second screen is, as a participant, you get a pop-up box inviting you to join. So hopefully all your participants will click join and they will enter the room. Okay, so what we have now is the breakout rooms are being created. We can see them here. So my second profile is in breakout room 1. Now as a host, I want to join them. I want to see how the conversation's going. One tip, as you set up the breakout room, before you send people in, tell them that you might be joining their room. Because when they think they've got some personal space and some privacy to talk and you suddenly appear with your face, it can sometimes be a little bit strange and some people, not offended, but they can be surprised. We don't want surprises. So hopefully as part of the setup of the breakout room, you're encouraging them to ensure their video's on. If it's not on beforehand, their mics are on so they can talk, and I can just join breakout room 1. And when I join, so breakout room is a personal space. This is where they can have a talk about an activity which you're running or to practice a role play. So you're going to suddenly appear and join, and we can go down to the participants tab here and we can see that in this breakout room there are 2 people. And you can see we're also at the top, we're in breakout room 1. Now when we created the breakout rooms, we had an option to rename them. I didn't show that, but you always have an option to rename the breakout rooms, or you remember where people are. So if you've got 4 breakout rooms, you can say, can breakout room 3 give me a summary of what you discussed, something like that. So we're in a breakout room now, there's just the 2 of you. If there are 10 people, just the 2 of us are in this room. So what can we do in the room? They could share a screen. So you can share a screen, and as long as everyone's set up to be able to share, then participants in the room can share maybe a whiteboard. This whiteboard allows them to write down some of their answers. So answer 1, obviously you can use an iPad Pro. I've got a drawing tablet normally to allow me to write a little bit neater. I could go maybe answer A for 1, and 2 could be maybe answer C, something like that. And then I can save it. I can take a screenshot. Then when they come back into the main room, they can share that and they can show what their answers are. So it's not lost. Now I just clear that. I can stop sharing. I'm still in the breakout room here. So what other functionality do participants have? What they've got down the bottom right is this Ask for Help button. And the Ask for Help button is basically asking the host to join that room. Maybe they've got a question. So if I go back to my main screen here, I'm going to show you, I'm going to hold that message because I haven't got a notification as host, because the person who asked for help is in the same room as me. So I need to move rooms now. So I'm going to go to breakout rooms. And let's say I want to join room 2. So I've been in room 1 for long enough. They're comfortable, the exercise is good, they're all talking. I hit this join button and I just join. So I'm still not back in the main room. The main room is still there. I'm just hopping between the breakout rooms. I'm in breakout room 1. Click on participants, there's only me. So now you see Liana Stuart in breakout room 1 has asked for help. So all I need to do is click join breakout room 1. It switches me back into room 1 rather than room 2. So we can move between. We can send a broadcast message to all people. So I use this for maybe typing 5 minutes left of exercise. And this will go out to every person. We'll be able to see on the other profile what this looks like. So they've received their notification. I can choose to still join different ones, or I can choose to leave the room. So I can click on leave and I leave breakout room 1 and that returns me back into the main session. Now we know there's 2 profiles, but I've only got 1 because this is the main room. The breakout rooms are still open. So the second profile is still in a breakout room. So let's think about closing those rooms now. So here it is. We've set up that 60-second notification and you can see here that I know it's going to close in this amount of time. From the participant side, they see this. So you can see that they've also got the same one. Now they can wait for this to close down or they can return to the main session. So you can see now that everyone is back in the main room. So the breakout rooms are closed. The only other thing I should say is when you're leaving a room, sometimes you've got an option to close it down. It gives you a few options: close breakout room, or close the whole meeting down. You don't want to close the whole meeting down because that will end the meeting for everyone. You just want to leave the breakout room. So now we're back in the main room, and that's really breakout rooms. What I do now is I ask representatives from each breakout room to maybe provide summary of what they talked about, the answers. It depends on the exercise which you had, but if you gave them notification beforehand to take note of the breakout room number or name that they were assigned to, then they'll know it's them, and then they can give the answers back in the main room. Either they can come off mute and provide their answer verbally, or they could write it in the chat box. It's up to you as a facilitator which way you want to go. So that's breakout rooms. As you see, quite easy to use. It's just a case of making sure your settings are on and then just becoming familiar with how the functionality works. How do you manually assign people in? How do you automatically assign people in? How do you switch between those two and move people between rooms? And then as host, what role do you play? Do you stay in the main room or do you join rooms? Personally, I imagine I'm in an in-person workshop. I would be moving around the tables, therefore I should be moving around the rooms. But that's just me. Sometimes it is good to give people a few minutes. So I don't go straight into a room because they haven't had time to actually just sit down and chat. So I give them a few minutes, then I start moving between the rooms, making sure they understand the exercise, understand what's expected of them. Because what you do find out, and a quick tip here is, you need to almost over-explain the exercise at the start. I thought a simple description would work, and it doesn't because people are often distracted virtually. Then I put it onto a slide, but I realized they're not looking at the slide that much, and then they go into the rooms and they've forgotten what was on the slide. So I sometimes even put the instructions into the chat box, and then they can always access the chat box with what the instructions are, and that's why I move between the rooms, just to make sure everyone understands. So my simple advice is play around with it, have a go. But if it's your first time, practice with a friend or a family member beforehand, because you don't want the mistakes to happen in the session. You want them to happen before, during your practice run. Good luck. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below or reach out to me through social media.